Let's go to chapter 1101, complete and narrated, of One Piece, after the intro. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel, and it took a while, but here it is, we have chapter 1101 of One Piece, complete and narrated. But before that, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the notification bell, that way you won't miss any new videos on the channel. And let's get to the video. The title of chapter 1101 of One Piece is Dear Bonney. We have two colored covers, one is of Luffy on a skateboard with One Piece written on it, where we also see Nami and Chopper. The other one is the colored Vegapunks, perhaps to say that the Egghead arc is coming to the anime, remembering that the Egghead arc starts on January 7th, 2024. Well, let's get to the content of this video. The title of the chapter is Dear Bonney. Page 1. Presentation box. 3 years ago in Mount Kalubo, Goa Kingdom in East Blue. Luffy City. We hear a voice. Gyo Mew. X. Then we see a foot stretching out in the middle of the trees. Then we see that Kuma is watching that. Luffy is training his characteristic move that was used back in Arlong Park to defeat Arlong. Luffy's move scares the local animals. A memory of Luma begins. Page 2. Kuma's memory is about a conversation with Dragon. Kuma says, Dragon, there was a boy there. Not only that, but when I stretched my legs earlier, I found a remote village nearby. You seem familiar with this island. Dragon then says, if you keep talking about it, you might kill me. Kuma says, what are you talking about? Dragon says, a child is the weakness of its parents. We see Dragon's eyes turn black and Kuma understands immediately. Kuma says, I'm sorry. I'll forget what I saw. Coming back from Kuma's memories, he still watches Luffy. Luffy talks about his move. What an amazing finishing move. I'll save it for when I'm up against a super strong enemy. After setting sail and gathering my crew. Page 3. Luffy continues. I have to be prepared for when someone tries to take them away. I will never let that happen. But if someone tries, BLAM, I'll give them a Gomu no axe to the face. Pretty cool, right? Luffy says this to the animals who clearly were frightened by his move. Presentation box. Monkey D. Luffy 16 years. Then we see Kuma's Den Den Mushi ringing. Luffy realizes that someone is nearby. Luffy says, who's there? Strange? What was that feeling just now? It gave me the chills. I bet there are still some tough opponents around here. I'll beat them all up before setting sail. Page 4. Then we see Kuma's ship at sea. Then we hear a call for Kuma. Someone says, some pirates escaped after looting a nearby merchant ship. Your orders are to bombard those bandits out of the water. They came out of nowhere. We need to take the wounded to the nearest hospital. Kuma, report. What are you doing? Kuma says, huh? Okay. Then we see another scene with Kuma after triumphing. Kuma says, I'll go ahead with them. Someone says, thank you very much, we thought you wouldn't make it. Another call to Kuma says, Kuma, respond. Then more pirate ships that Kuma apprehended. Kuma says, surrender. The pirates say, wait, we don't want any trouble, you can take everything. These loots are not worth their lives. While we see Kuma in action, we see that he is writing to Bonney. Kuma says, Dear Bonney, the world is so beautiful that its beauty cannot be captured by photos. I long to see your bright and smiling face while you experience this for yourself. Page 5. The scene changes. Meanwhile, in the Sorbet Kingdom, we hear a voice. It's here, now it's here, now it's here. Oh man. We see that it's Bonney who has been checking if her father sends letters. Someone says, I'm sure he must be very busy or the letters are getting lost. Bonney says, but Daddy said he would write a lot of letters. Then another voice says, oh dear. The letters need to make a long journey. On their own, you know. One day you'll see. We see that the one speaking is Kani. Then we see that something arrives and is caught by Alpha. Look, a newspaper and another heartwarming letter. Page 6. Alpha says to one of the agents, put this newspaper in the mailbox. He says, yes, madam. While we see the newspaper being placed there. Bonney asks, yay, and now it arrived. But it's said to be just a newspaper. Alpha then says, Our letter, he sends about 10 letters per month. How does he find so much to write about? For Bonney, for Bonney. She then tears the letter and says, why does it have to be so sappy? While we see the torn letter thrown into a trash can full of papers, we see something written. One last thing, Bonney. You're probably tired of hearing me say this, but I love you very much. I'll write again soon. Then we see Bonney saying, Gyo, let's train. Gyo says, again, Bonney? How about Jenga instead? Bonney says, I said I want to fight. She says this, changing her body into a version very similar to the muscular Luffy Nika. Page 7. Gyo says, easy, Bonney, it's time for your medicine. He says this while Bonney attacks him. At this moment, Alpha enters through the church door, but we already see the normal Bonney. Alpha says, am I imagining things? I swore Bonney was huge now. Then we see Alpha giving medicine to Bonney, who says, does the medicine have to be so bitter? Alpha says, that just means it's working. But in her thoughts, Alpha says, all right, this is just a horrible lemon-flavored placebo. Meanwhile, Gyo and Kani whisper, hey, Granny Kani, why are we hiding Bonney's powers again? Kani says, to protect her. You know what they say, a talented hawk hides its claws. Then the scene changes. Marine Scientific Division. Lab 08. Someone says, amazing, Doctor. I can't believe you did it. Now we just need to lift the brain and lab using the island clouds. Vegapunk then says, almost half of what you see here is holographic. I had also planned for Punk Hazard to be like this, you know. Page 9. Kuma responds, I'll keep writing until I run out of time. Bonney deserves to know how I feel. I want to send her a lifetime of love before this year ends. Stussy says, heh, how sweet. Kuma says, Bonney is almost 9 years old now. I wonder how much she's grown. Do you think she's changed a lot? Happy birthday, Bonney. I don't know when you'll receive this letter, but I'm back at Vegapunk's laboratory. Things are busy here. Back in Sorbet, we see that the villagers throw a birthday party for Bonney. Congratulations, Bonney, they shout. Look, Kani made an extra-large special pizza for you. Bonney says, oh, thank you. I love this. So good. After the party, when everyone is already asleep, we see that Bonney tries to check if there's a letter from Kuma for her. But nothing, she says. Dad, now I'm 9 years old. And you never write to me. You said you would always write. Page 10. The narrator then says, and so another half-year passed without a single letter reaching the church. The scene changes, presentation box. Revolutionary Army Headquarters, Baltigo. Someone says, Kuma came to the rescue again? Then he showed up to save us at the last minute. After that he left without saying a word. We see that it's Sabo who says, yes, it's like every other time. The revolutionary forces were facing difficulties. Dragon then says, if Kuma doesn't want to be followed, we have to respect that. I'm sure he has his reasons for keeping us in the dark. Bonney says, I'm completely better. Look, the stones have completely disappeared. I can finally leave the house? Alpha says, no way, Bonney-chan. You need to stay here. We were told to keep you under supervision until your 10th birthday. Bonney responds, liar. Vegapunk said I would be fine after a year. And that was a year ago. Alpha says, I forbid. Page 11. Kani whispers, Alpha and the others are government intelligence agents. Shoo. What dash? Kani continues, they let it slip while drinking in the town. Apparently, her illness has been cured for some time. We must be missing something. Why would they keep a perfectly healthy young girl locked up there for another 6 months? Also, I found it hard to believe that Kuma didn't send a single letter. Bonney says, yes. Kani continues, I've sorted everything out with Gyogyo and the others. Go to the port, Bonney. Wander through the seas and find your father. Bonney says, can I really do that? Gyogyo and the rest aren't ordinary fishermen. They're a strong band of hooligans. I'm sure pirates and sea kings will turn tail when they see them in action. They'll be there to help you find Kuma. I'm going back to the palace. Bonney and Kani exchange clothes. Page 12. While walking, Bonney thinks, so this is the outside world. It's so dirty. and full of grass. Look at the sky. There's the sun. Someone says. Bonney is really walking out there. It's a miracle. There really is a God. Never thought I'd see this day. Gyogyo says. Bonney. Over here. Bonney says. Gyogyo. Tots. Potato. Look, guys. I'm really outside. Alpha then says. Where's Bonney? I just saw the Widow Queen out there. What the hell is happening? Kani, dressed in Bonney's clothes but with an old woman's voice, says. It's me, Bonney. Alpha says. You lying old hag. On Bonney's boat. Raise anchor. Wow. We turned the ship into a pizza for you. Double final page 13 and 14. Alpha running says. Hold them. Someone from the boat says. She found us. Alpha shouts. Do you think you can escape from me? I'll beat you until you're on the brink of death. I'll keep you chained day and night, it'll be easier that way. Gyogyo then says. Huh, she's flying towards us, that must be one of her powers. Alpha says. I've been ordered to eliminate any accomplices. Then Bonney remembers something. Bonney says. Hey daddy, what was Nika like? Kuma says. No one knows. Bonney then says. Distorted future. Bonney? Kuma's still speaking. But they said his body was all rubber, so there was no limit to what he could do in a fight. Then Bonney threw the punch. Gimme a Nika sh tucher, Nika's future. Bonney's giant punch bumped Alpha right in the face and he fainted immediately. As the narrator says, the government soon receives the news that their hostage escaped to find her father. Like Luffy and the others, their ship gained fame and it went from a small fishing boat to an infamous pirate of the new era. Editor's final phrase. A young woman heads for her future. No One Piece next week. And that was chapter 1101 of One Piece. If you liked the video, leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell. See you next time and thanks.